Meanwhile, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has assured the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, that government is committed to creating equitable development so that no one is left behind. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia disclosed government's intention when the Deputy Executive Director of UNFPA, Gov't, paid a courtesy call on him to update him on the outcome of the just-ended African Union meeting of population health and development.
The outcome of the and development by ministers of the African Union member states was for governments to make concerted efforts to invest in the youth. Before leaving the country, the Deputy Executive Director of the UNFPA, Mr. Gov't, paid a courtesy call on Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. He reiterated the need for Ghana to attain the Sustainable Development Goals where population is concerned. He was accompanied by the West and Central African Regional Director of the UNFPA, Mr. Mabinge Ngom.
This conference we just finished looks into how to invest on people of the African continent, especially given the largest proportion of the African continent today are young people. And it is important to ensure they are healthy and they are educated and they are access, employment and decent jobs. This requires a concerted effort.
Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia supporting Ghana over the years, especially with every population census the country has conducted. He said through the implementation of its flagship programs, government is committed to creating equitable development so that no one is left behind.
Youth unemployment is also an area that we are really challenged, as with many other countries, and therefore looking for ways to grow the economy, to be able to have jobs across the country. Of course, we are tackling this in a number of ways, making sure that agriculture becomes one that is more productive and more expansive.
The Deputy Executive Director of the UNFPA, Mr. Gov't, assured government of the UNFPA's continual support. He also asked government to commit more resources to making family planning services free and accessible. Mr. Gov't also emphasized that controlled population eradicates poverty. The Deputy Executive Director of the UNFPA has since departed from Accra. 04 GBC 24, Jubilee House, Accra.
A review meeting of experts and African ministers in charge of population is underway in Accra. Heads of government across the continent have been tasked to invest in the quality of health and education of their human capital to ensure economic growth. Another report by Sarah Ofori.
Investing in the individual capacities, dignity and human rights of its population is the sum total of the Addis Ababa Declaration on Population and Development for Africa. The first meeting of African ministers in charge of population in Accra is intended to review the progress of member states with reference to the declaration. However, Africa is lagging behind as the prospects for the demographic dividends is said to be unevenly distributed due to the increasing population. Inhibited access to health, sexual and reproductive health services, low secondary school enrollment in parts of Africa, lack of sustainable employment, expansion of slums in urban areas, and the perilous migration by the youth were cited.
There can be no demographic dividend if large portion of the population are excluded from investments in education, health, reproductive rights, and decent work. More countries have health budgets below the stipulation in the Abuja Declaration.
Speaking on behalf of the Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation, Dr. Anthony Akutose, entreated African leaders to invest in sustainable projects aimed at benefiting the youth.
As government, we should invest in projects that create jobs or enable youth to start their own businesses. We should also make agriculture more attractive to the youth, promote technology, improve young people's skills, and make school curricula relevant to the needs of job markets.
The Executive Director of Ghana's National Population Council, Dr. Letitia Adelaide-Appiah, who was given special recognition for her role in the review of Ghana's population policy, said poverty eradication requires investment by government in the quality of its human resource.
People are aging, they need to be taken care of. So if we spend all our monies on education and on health for young people, then it's a big challenge. Then how are we going to build the roads? So we have to have the saving culture. That is how people have developed. So you have children, you spend some on them, you spend some on yourself, then you can save in the bank.
21 member states of the African Union and civil society groups from across the continent are attending the two-day conference. Sarah Fori, GBC 24, Accra.